All right, thanks for being on iSmart podcast. Today on the show, we have Inga Intriago. She is the CEO and founder of Marketing Intrigue. Thank you for being on the show, Inga. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. It is really, really great to be here. So looking forward to our talk today, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So what is Marketing Intrigue and how did you get into this business? Can you go into a little bit of your founder story and everything?
Sure. So about 8 years ago, I decided that after my first job in San Diego, after that job ended, I decided that I wanted to go into marketing for myself. I saw that there was a need for small to medium-sized businesses to have, really good marketing. And my passion is really bringing that customer service aspect into every campaign, really telling the story of my client and their brand, and really
Mhm.
educating them through the whole journey. So I saw that there was a need for that. I saw that a lot of companies weren't really doing that passionately, and that's what really inspired me and motivated me to start my own consulting practice in marketing.
Fantastic. So it's been 8 years now.
8 years.
And what kind of like struggles did you have in the beginning with it? And any kind of like major successes after that?
Sure. So of course, really it's always the big challenge is always talking about budget and really the need for marketing. But in the beginning, I've actually found a lot of my clients through referrals, and they pretty much knew they needed marketing. They needed really good marketing. They just needed someone to handle, just be the resource for managing their social media, managing their email marketing, crafting the content, and just really being on top of it. So, and that's a job in itself. So that was really not really so much of a struggle, really finding the clients. Really, it's just really making them understand the value of marketing. So I think that's probably my challenge when I meet with a lot of clients. And I would say my huge success is just really working with clients. I have a really good idea on what their goals are.
Mm.
So for example, I worked with one restaurant, local restaurant downtown, and they had just opened up. I think they weren't even 6 months old. And I was referred to them, and I came to them, and the owner pretty much said, this restaurant is empty. We just need to fill these seats. But he had great ideas on how to bring in, the audience. He wanted to have really cool events. He was doing really great promotions. So just my job was just to help him craft the strategy, manage the content. And yeah, and then within 6 months to a year, he moved to a larger space across the street, and those seats were filled. And
Very
he
cool.
actually has an actual a restaurant group now. So that is one of my biggest successes, and always great to see him driving around his Lamborghini. So I guess he's
Yeah.
doing well.
Well, that's gotta be entertaining, you
Yes.
know. He's got the restaurant, got the Lambo, he's got it all, you know.
You bet. At least I could say, I helped him in the beginning of his journey and his
Yeah.
struggles. So yeah, and that's my success is to see my clients succeed. Mhm.
Very cool. Yeah. So marketing intrigue and I love the name. It's very very intriguing.
Thank
And
you.
I
Thank
think
you.
that marketing is a very large space. So there's so
Mhm.
many different ways you can make money off of it. Here we talk
Mhm.
about different ways you've been able to create different revenue streams within the business. Sounds
Mhm.
like like social media management is one way that you've been able to create a revenue stream. Another one is
Mhm.
probably, just doing Facebook ads or some kind of
Mhm.
general marketing for
Mhm.
new events and launches. What other ways have you been able to create revenue streams?
Well, email marketing is huge. I think that's one channel that will not go away. I think if email marketing is done, effectively and is more targeted, and the messaging is, personalized and targeted, that could be another huge revenue stream. So I'm still a huge advocate for email. As you mentioned, social media. I mean, Instagram, I think is you know, uh, my favorite platform. There's so many new tools, and Facebook, and especially Instagram, is evolving every day. So I always try and stay abreast of the new trends, the new tools that they add, and a lot of them are really low cost to free, pretty much. So it's really about just really, using, email marketing and social media marketing effectively, have effective strategies. And now, I mean, live streaming is huge. One of my new favorite live stream platforms is Twitch. So there are lots of
Nice.
different ways that you can have
You've got on
sponsors.
the Twitch game. I love it.
Oh yeah, I mean, but it's so interesting because Twitch actually started out as a video streaming platform, but now a lot of fitness experts, beauty experts are using the platform because it is awesome, and that's another really awesome, really great revenue stream that you can use, Twitch and even YouTube. YouTube is also king of videos, live streaming. I think they just implemented the live streaming tool. And I know there's different ways you can utilize YouTube for generating revenue. But also, events. I mean, if there's now everything's moving on to virtual events, if there's ways that you can tap into that,
Yeah, can you
everything.
expand on that a little bit actually? Virtual events, like what do you think the future of that is and maybe where it is right now and where you think it's going to go?
It's very, very interesting because some of the big events, and I was so bummed when Comic-Con was canceled because
Yeah, that was hard.
there's certain events that you really can't go virtual. I think that's one event. I mean, it brings in, I think, over 150,000 people to San Diego, and it's just so awesome to see all the exhibits, all the
People
people, all the
dressing up,
food.
yeah.
Oh, it's an
You have
experience.
Deadpool
Uh,
walking down the street and you're like, what?
it's like you don't even have to go inside the exhibit
Is that
hall.
Ryan
You can
Reynolds?
just
I
go
don't really
outside,
know. Is that Ryan Reynolds? I'm not sure.
So, but it's interesting. I think this is what I see, and this is what I think if you're going to be doing events, especially large ones, still have them in person, but maybe in the future offer that virtual experience as an option. Maybe there's certain speakers that maybe there's like a sort of like a speaker session or keynote. I would suggest that maybe have that offering as an option because a lot of people really don't want to try. I mean, if you think about it, for a company to send someone to a what's the word I'm looking
Some
for,
kind of conference or an
to a
event or something
conference,
like
it's,
that.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
$2,000-3,000
It's very
sometimes at
expensive.
least. So I think companies need to think about having a virtual event offering once when things open up and you do have in-person events. I don't know. I think the big events like the Comic-Cons and CES. I mean, I think some of those, and especially in speaking of SEMA, I mean, you think even the SEMA show. I mean, it's experience, and you have to go and be in person. So, but also have that option. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Have that virtual event option.
Definitely. So look, there's many different ways you can create revenue streams. You've already mentioned a couple, just like email marketing, social media, event management. Anything else maybe like that you've been able to tap into in the marketing space?
I mean that's probably like my top, my top, choices. As far as marketing, I mean even Zoom meetings. I think that's another way of connecting with your customers, connecting with prospective customers. Have a list. Instead of cold calling, which I think is great too. Schedule a meeting. Schedule a consultation, and reconnect with your customer, or invite them to a consultation. Because even though that we're not doing that many in-person meetings and events, have that Zoom meeting. Actually, for example, there's an awesome esthetician who just started her business right before the pandemic. She just had a baby, but she's amazing and super knowledgeable in dermatology. So her and she's offering free 30-minute consultations. We had a consultation. Once things open up, I'm booking my first appointment with her. And she's actually sold me on a few facials. So I think that's another way of also generating revenue. Reconnect with your customers, connect with new customers. It's a great way of building relationships. And I think when you think about connecting and think of the customer service experience, the money will come. So
Yeah,
I think that's
definitely. 100% great advice. So the
Mhm.
last thing we like to talk about the show is just how the pandemic has kind of affected your business and,
Mhm.
which ways you've been able to adapt to kind of like the new normal that we're having to deal with.
Mhm. So the pandemic, um, I think with every company, with every business, you have to evolve and adapt because things are changing. I think right now things are a little bit at a standstill, but for me personally, what I've been doing, I've just been reaching out to colleagues, connecting with entrepreneurs like yourself, and just doing these meetings, collaborating, talking about ideas. What I would like to do is do maybe like a webinar series with some of my trusted colleagues that I look up to and respect, and just keep the conversation going. So that's what I'm doing in the meantime, until things start to open up. But yeah, just I mean, it is kind of a slow time, which I'm enjoying this downtime a little bit, but really for me, just keeping the conversation going and just connecting with my colleagues, having these calls, talking about trends, talking about what's going on, and just keeping your mind stimulated
Yeah,
and
definitely.
having those conversations.
I love it. And with Instagram and Facebook and all the kind of clickbait that's happening, have you seen it affecting any of the ads or any of like the marketing campaigns that you've been able to post up? Has it had much of an effect?
No, not really.
Okay.
I have noticed that a lot of people are really tuning into the Facebook Lives. And
Yeah.
I think, I think so much, because I think a lot of people are home and they just have a lot of time in their hands. So I see a lot of the Facebook Live streaming, really seeing an uptick, just from my experience in the last couple of months. So, I would definitely, think about that as a business, maybe do more Facebook Lives in your industry, whatever you're doing, just do a quick Facebook Live to your audience of what's going on, where you are, and just talk about it. Maybe just be on for like a couple minutes.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
not just because maybe they get like top notifications. So when anyone does any kind of live thing, it says, "Hey, this person's alive," and then you tend up
Mhm.
getting a lot more views because they're getting like immediate notifications from it.
Yeah, and also the stories, like Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and I mean I've seen a real. I mean they're becoming so popular.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would just say play around with content, just see what content resonates with your audience. Do more Facebook Lives, do more Instagram stories. Now that a lot of people are home, and not really going out or not really back in the office so much yet. So yeah, I would definitely take advantage, look more into the Facebook Lives, YouTube Lives, and the Instagram and Facebook stories.
Perfect. Yeah. Great recommendation. One last thing is what is your specialty kind of like in the marketing space? Because we have so many marketers that are on the show and they all kind of say, oh, we take care of our clients and we have a personalized experience and we really care. But what is it kind of something that maybe would be your highlight, like your super unique thing that you say would be 10 out of 10 that if anyone was listening, they would say, okay, go to Inga because she's like the girl that she's
Oh.
there. Marketing Intrigue is the company that really like highlights this. Like, is there something that you would see as if like that's that one thing?
I would say that I am very passionate about the art of storytelling. So when I do meet with a client, I mean, the first thing I ask is, what is your story? What sets you apart from everyone else in your field and in your industry? Because everyone has a story, everyone has a powerful story to tell. And that's my passion. And that's one thing I specialize in. And I really, the first thing I want to do after I ask my clients, what are your goals, is what is your story? How do you, people love a story. People love a powerful story. And if you can tell that story and relate it to your product or brand and it resonates with your audience, it's like,
Game
it's
over. Yeah.
game
Everyone
over.
remembers it. Yep.
Everyone loves a story. I mean, um, I just love okay, so former President Obama, I mean, I'm not talking politics, but he loved his stories, and you just get drawn in and, you laugh and it kind of makes you forget about everything, like what's going on in the world. But yeah, that would be my specialty. That's something I'm very, very passionate about. And that's what I bring to the table when I do work with my clients.
Very cool. Is it primarily like personal brands maybe that would have great stories where you can help them on that? Or is it also just like companies as well or certain products, like any kind of story in specifically, or is it kind of like a mixture of all of them?
Mixture of all of it.
Okay.
Even with small companies, small organizations, I always like to see how they started, how they began, or what was
Yeah.
the goal, or what was the mission behind the business. And you just kind of get those stories and those nuggets out of them when you talk to them, like when I do have those consultations with them. And it's like, wow, let's run with this, and let's build content around it. So yeah, so that's so, and every client's a little bit different, but yeah, so it's a little bit of, it could be a personal story, it could be a company story, but yeah, just what is your story?
So it sounds like, if you need to get your story out there and you're not really good at storytelling, then reach out to Inga, reach out to marketing intrigue. And really appreciate you being on the show. How do people get a hold of you if they want to, market their story about their product or their person or personal brand or anything?
Great. Yes, great question. So you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I do have a business page, Marketing Intrigue. Or if you just want to look me up, my first name is Inga Intriago. Send me a message, shoot me an email. And I also have a website, marketingintrigue.com. If you want to check out my testimonials from past clients, I also have an evaluation form if you want to schedule a 30-minute free consultation. We'd love to hear what your goals are and just like to just chat and see where you would like to take your marketing strategy to. And yes, I'm also on Instagram, so you can also look me up at Marketing Intrigue. Just FYI, I'm just starting my business page, so it's just getting ready to put some content in. But if you want to reach me out on Instagram, if that's easier for you, just look me up at Marketing Intrigue on Instagram.
Fantastic. Yeah, people reach out to her if you want to share your story or if you want any advice on social media management or email marketing. Thank you, Inga, for being on the show today. And hopefully we'll have you on the show a little bit later on this year and see your growth. And maybe in San Diego, we can, we can meet up and see how we can do some business. And obviously we have a community of entrepreneurs that, we invite almost all the guests on. So hopefully you'll be part of that as well.
Wonderful. I would love to be a part of that. And maybe we could do a fun live Twitch feed out in San Diego.
Yeah. Twitch is where it's at.
Yes.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
Inga.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a real honor to be here. It was so much fun. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.